Mr. Mark.
Heavenly Joey, how are you?
I am good. I feel very light today.
As you should.
And heavy at the same time.
As you should. We talk a lot about a lot of light stuff in this episode and a lot of heavy stuff.
We get into the market numbers for April. This is a market update episode and all the terrible things that took place last month.
Last month, we go deep into how popes are elected.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
We talk about mustaches. And the underlining theme is our hope and faith that the Leafs make it out of round two.
Yeah. We're going to ignore these numbers, and all of it is to do with the Leafs.
Be Leaf, baby.
Be Leaf.
Episode 90. Enjoy.
Enjoy. Welcome to the Toronto Livings Podcast, a conversation about all things Toronto with a focus on real estate, the culture, and of course, the food.
I'm Mark Savell.
And I'm Joey Virgilio.
And we're realtors with Sage Real Estate, working together as a Toronto Livings team with a focus on helping you buy better, sell higher, and of course, having a little bit of fun along the way. Mr. Joey.
Mr. Mark.
How are you, sir?
I'm okay. I'm a little bit disappointed in myself right now.
Why so?
I did not bring my jersey today.
We made a pact. We're going to wear the jerseys, the whole playoff run.
But what I did bring is this, whatever you would consider this mustache to be.
That, my friend, is an official mustache. And I think that is an excusable reason to not wear your jersey.
I'll take it.
Yeah,
I'll take it. This is the first time in my entire life that I've gotten this far with a mustache.
For those, okay, so we just started the podcast.
Yes,
You're tuned in. You have no idea what we're going to talk about. We're getting right into mustache right off the hop. Use this as your sign to either look down on Spotify and watch the video or go onto YouTube because, Joey, look at the camera.
There we go.
Look at that. That, my friends, like pure. I mean, now it's serious. You got to. Let's just get right into the tough questions off the hop.
Yes.
What does Molly C think of your mustache?
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to say it's a mixed bag.
Okay.
Because it started off with her saying something along the lines of maybe it's best that the Leafs don't win the playoffs.
So for those who don't know, we're growing a mustache.
This is specifically for the Leafs.
That's right. We're doing this for the Leafs.
This is a playoffs mustache.
We're sacrificing our body for the Leafs. This is essentially what we're doing. Yes. And our relationships.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But there's a little bit of a turning conversation happening.
Sometimes we're talking in the office and I think I'm looking at Captain Jack Sparrow. I just see Johnny Depp in you. That's all I see. That mustache is just Johnny Depp. Mine is more. I got the more Ted Lasso.
You got a good, 100%.
Yeah, mine's got some.
It's a good thick mustache.
It's got some thickness to it. Age, actually, the opposite's been true. She's been so supportive, but I caught her in a moment of weakness where she's like, "Wow, you're still growing that thing." And she quickly switched back to but I like it and I support it. I'm like, I know what you really think about it. So maybe we should tell the people what we're talking about today.
Yeah, let's do it.
More than mustaches.
Yes, it's a little bit more than mustaches. Yeah. We were getting into the April numbers.
The April numbers, yes.
Yeah, there's the spoiler alert. The get ready to hear some awful numbers.
Yeah, this is probably the worst update we've given. But there's a lot of updates. There's a lot of things that have happened in the last 2 weeks. We missed last week. We were kind of busy with a few things.
100%.
So a lot of things happened. The world's a different world.
100%. This April month was also a very, there was a lot of things in the air.
There was a lot of things in the air.
It seems to be a common trend with these market updates.
Yeah.
Uncertainty seems
Black
to be
swans.
the key words.
Yeah, yes. Uncertainty, black swans, all that fun stuff.
But we're going to dive into the specifics.
Yeah.
And we're going to get detailed.
Yeah, we're going to give you some theories and understandings as to why maybe some of these things happened the way they did and a little bit of insight in the direction they're probably going to be going.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Shall we, as we always do?
Let's do it. But first, you tell me where you ate. And how was your week?
This has been a very big week for me. You know this off camera. We have a new pope. We have a new pope.
Yes.
I don't think I'm breaking the news on this.
Something I learned about Mark in the last couple of weeks is that he's very into pope culture.
Big pope guy. Big pope guy. Also, something I learned about me is I'm the only one who's into popes.
So not surprising.
Yeah, when you're like, wow, man, I'm like, doesn't everybody? And I've asked a few of my friends, they're like, dude, you're the only one who talks about popes.
To the detail that you talk about it in. It's you're definitely like a one-on-one type of situation.
Okay, well, that's reassuring. At least I know I'm in my own little bubble here. I don't know. There's something about the pomp and pampastry of it all that just kind of I'm enthralled by it. I think.
So what was the outcome that took? Okay, first off, not to go too far into this direction, but
well, the market's garbage, so we can go as deep as you want to avoid talking about the market right now.
the actual situation as to how popes get elected is something that was completely news to me.
The conclave. Yes. Funny enough, I told Age last night, I'm like, I could have been interviewed by MSNBC. Like, I would have given a masterclass.
100%.
Because so many people were DMing me like, how does this even work? I'm like, how does this work? You don't understand the conclave? So without getting too deep, I would say a good movie to watch is The Conclave.
Okay.
Which just came out. It's got a little bit of goes on a wild tangent type thing, kind of a wild ending, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Which has nothing to do with an actual, well, I mean, just watch the movie, but it really details how the conclave works. And so it's all about, what I'm most like enthralled by is the history and tradition of it. Doing it for thousands or hundreds of thousands, whatever it is, a long time.
Yeah.
It's not hundreds of thousands of years. I think it's like since 1200 BC is when the conclave started.
Okay.
And the purpose of the conclave is because at that time, it took 3 years to nominate the next pope. So they're like, screw this. We're going to sequester everyone back in the 1200s. No cell phones, no nothing, no messenger pigeons. And you popes are going to have to come, or you cardinals are going to have to come up with a decision. And it's just kind of evolved over the years. And this is where we are today.
It's locked in a room.
Locked in the Sistine Chapel.
Locked in the Sistine Chapel with, and burning the votes so that they emit a specific color of smoke.
Well, okay, so I'll demystify that. So there's 2 colors of smokes. If they have a pope, it's white smoke. If they don't, it's black smoke. But it's not like the holy divine spirit chooses the color. They do put a dye in it to control the color that comes out of it. A lot of interesting stuff, and I'm going to tie it back to Toronto. Like, we're not going full Popa Roma culture here. There's a lot of 6s and 7s related to this pope. And the last time the Leafs won the Stanley Cup was 1967.
Oh my God!
So the tin hat wearing,
100%. There's tinfoil hats. They're sparking right now.
So he was announced. First of all, it's an American.
Right.
Spoiler alert: if you've not,
Pope Leo,
which is not his real name.
Oh, it's not.
No.
Oh, I was going to say that's a great pope name.
Well, they're always great pope names because they pick their names. So their birth name is not their pope name.
What's his actual name? Do you know?
Bob.
Okay,
Pope Bob.
Not as much.
He's from Chicago.
It's a little let down.
Yeah, Pope Bob. He's got 2 brothers.
Pope Bob from Chicago.
Sounds like a caller. We got Pope Bob on the line from Chicago. And so me and Adriana I went home for lunch yesterday, and that's when the announcement was made. And honestly, I blacked out. I was in shock that it was an American pope.
Right, because isn't this the first time?
First time ever. So Pope Francis, who I'm a big fan of, I think he was a very progressive pope and helped really modernize the church in a lot of ways. Super sad to see him pass. And there's another great movie called The Two Popes, which you should also watch. It gets into a little bit of conclave, but it's more of like how Pope Francis is so different than Pope. I'm not going to get into it. He's just a different type of pope. Where am I going with this long-winded story? He was elected at 607.
Yeah, first you American pope.
First new American pope. That blew my mind. I blacked out. I was like, did I just hear that right? Not that it makes any difference. And then he started speaking. My God, he speaks perfect Italian. Yeah. Flawless. So he speaks Latin. He did missionary work in Peru. He's the Cardinal of Chicago and all these things. He's been at the Vatican since 2023. I could go into long. We're not going to do that.
Yeah. We'll do a whole podcast on this.
I would love that, to be honest with you. I would love prepping show notes for that podcast. Fun fact, I own Pope socks.
I saw your Instagram. And you went to where the Pope makes, or the
Pope's tailor.
The tailors.
Yeah. If you're ever in Rome, it's right behind the Pantheon. I'll put in the show notes for anyone traveling to Italy on this Jubilee year. When I took Adriana S. and Marky when we were in Italy this summer, I'm like, we got to go see the Pope's tailor. And they're like, seriously? Seriously. It was closed, so we actually didn't go inside, but I showed them where the Pope's tailor is. They've been doing it since the 1700s.
Love it.
Tailoring all the popes.
Love it.
And you can't buy much from them unless you're a clergyman, which I unfortunately am not. But you could buy socks from them.
Okay.
So I have the purple socks, which is very special. I only wear them
specific
conclave only. Conclave only. Those are conclave socks. And then it's
like the playoffs of the popes.
I mean, it's not far off. I erroneously bought red socks for Easter. I'm like, I'll buy red Pope socks. Like, that's such a Pope color. Dude, they're thigh-high socks. They go up to my thighs. They're mid-thigh socks. I had no idea. I put them on. They just kept going. I'm like, I can never wear these. It's
absolutely incredible that you even had the thought to be like, I don't have red ones yet.
They gave me a nice letter. They're like, "Dear Mr. Savelle, thank you for being a patron of our store." Like it's a big thing. It's a big thing for me. So we got a new pope, and the connection to the Leafs. Last time we talked, we were like, the Leafs are going to sweep Ottawa. Spoiler alert. Didn't happen either.
They did not, yeah.
I think that's partially why I didn't podcast last week. I'm like, I need some time
to take a breather.
Take the breather. They're facing Florida now. We're up 2-0 at recording this. It's game 3 tonight, so we'll see what happens. But the Pope was elected at 6:07. Last time Leafs won the Stanley Cup was 1967. Pope Bob, or Pope Leo, whichever you prefer to call him, is the 267th Pope.
Okay. Okay.
It's our year.
Okay.
It's our year.
Well, that's our going.
It's coming home. It's our year. I'm so stoked. So I know you asked me a simple question. How's my week? Where did I eat? To answer that, Tora Sushi.
Okay.
You ever heard of it?
I have not.
Okay. So, sushi is a very acquired taste. Not everyone likes it.
Yeah.
Tora is this aburi style where they torch the top of it.
Okay.
I first tried it in Vancouver.
You told me about, yes. You told me about this was your go-to spot your go-to spot is now
RIP. No longer in business. Yeah. Actually, they're opening up as a vegan sushi spot.
Oh.
Which made me even angrier.
Okay.
Yeah, so I will never be stepping foot in there. Not that I have a problem with vegans, but sushi is sushi. Like, it is what it is. Anyways, Miku downtown, Torch Sushi. They opened a second location at Yorkdale.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Such a good little gem.
Okay.
Right next to Restoration Hardware, you have to go up a short elevator to get to it.
Mm-hmm.
Toro Sushi is the name of it. Flame seared. You think you tried sushi, then you try this. It's a whole nother world.
Okay.
That raw fishness that a lot of people are kind of opposed to.
So this is now your new. Is this going to be your new go-to spot?
Unfortunately, not. It is pricey. It's my treat spot. So when I'm feeling like,
that's a special treat situation.
That's a special treat spot. Yeah. You're going to spend about $100 for 2 people to eat, no drinks. That's just straight
just
sushi.
The food. Yeah.
But it's worth it. It is fantastic. We love the abori salmon oshi and the abori ebi oshi.
Okay.
I prefer the ebi a little bit over the abori. Do you like California rolls?
Yeah.
They do a really good torch California roll.
Oh, a torch too. Everything's torched?
You could get non-torched, but that's what
it sounds like it sounds like that's the move.
Yeah. So that's my spot. Abori tuna. We have a new pope. Lots of signs are saying that he's the chosen one and the Leafs will win.
Love it. Okay. I like that. That's a good summary.
How was your week, Joey? Lay it on me.
Okay. So it's been a couple weeks and I wanted to do a proper shout out so far to Crudo.
Okay.
And there's a reason for it. So I went to visit my parents at some point last week, and they went to Crudo because I kept sending them images because it's a good Instagram spot.
Yeah.
And they stopped and they went and they waited in line. They got their meal and they said, "Hey, before you come over, don't eat because we have leftovers. We ordered a ton."
It's a lot.
Yeah. They're a lot, 100%. But I went over there and I was late. So the crudo that I ate was cold.
Okay.
And it was old.
Okay.
And it was still delicious.
Right on.
So I have to shout them out specifically.
Yeah.
Because I have officially tried it. I kept meaning to try it. I still need to try it fresh.
Okay.
But go ahead.
I was going to say if you could describe what crudo actually makes.
Sorry, good point.
Visually, I know, but I think the listeners.
So they're an Italian sandwich shop.
Yeah.
And they make these amazing, they're the Italian deli sandwiches pretty much. But they also do pizza. Everything is fresh. Like they make the bread fresh. They cut the cold cuts fresh. Everything is done like to the nines. And I cannot explain the taste and the flavor of they have a pistachio
glaze
sauce basically, and it was so flavorful. Like it blew my mind every time I took a bite of it with a mortadella sandwich. It was like it was on point. The bread is not thick.
Yeah.
It's crusty on the outside. It's soft on the inside, but it's not thick. Like it's
not dense.
Yes.
Yeah.
You get to eat it without being like, I'm just stuffing myself with a bunch of bread.
Carbon up.
Yeah. And like, whatever the denseness of that bread it will end up like afterwards. Their pizza's incredible. I highly, highly recommend. If you get the prosciutto sandwich, I recommend getting extra balsamic glaze on it because it needs a little extra juice to it. But otherwise, highly, highly recommend 1451 Royal York Road. And it's at the rear of the building.
Right on. Joey's pro tip, get the glaze.
And plan for some time because
there's lineups.
There's lineups. Yeah. Apparently it took them over 30 minutes to get their sandwiches. Yeah.
Wow. And it's not, you don't get it in like a typical bun per se, right?
No,
it's
that's
like a wrapped.
Exactly. It's literally it's almost I don't know what to call it. It's a piece of bread.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's like homemade.
Yeah.
And it's
more like a dough. Think of like a hybrid panzerotti. Like it's not a deep fried.
That's such a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're getting like this big folded piece of bread. with all this salami goodness, cold cut goodness.
I'm gonna tag not just I'm gonna tag the website,
Yeah.
but also the Instagram, and you can just watch those videos and start drooling. Right
as
away.
you should.
Yeah,
It's fantastic. Crudo. You give the address 1451 Royal York.
Yep.
Check it out. Oh, Yorkdale. I didn't give you the proper address because it's in Yorkdale.
Right.
Like it's not like Yorkdale doesn't have right.
like a specific.
Yeah, it's not like unit
one
43.
Yorkdale.
Yeah.
Unit 74. Yeah,
that's right. It's right where Restoration Hardware is. Just you'll see it. It's upstairs.
Yeah.
Oh, and they deliver sushi on a conveyor belt. If that's important to you,
it is. Yeah, because that just sold me on it.
There you go. You should definitely check it out. It's a good date night. It's a good treat.
I love that.
Yeah. Well, there you go. 2 really great recommendations.
Yes, I think we did pretty good with the food this week.
Yeah.
Or last 2 weeks, I guess.
Yeah, I like that.
Shall we get into news you could use?
I mean, we kind of
touched on
the
it.
big news. We have a new pope.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a new pope.
We, the people of the world, have a new pope.
We discussed the Leafs.
We discussed the Leafs.
Do we have new listings?
Well, I kind of want to talk about Severance.
Okay.
The market's really bad this week, so I'm really stalling on what we're going to be talking about.
All right, yeah.
You put me on to Severance.
Yes.
This was during my White Lotus phase.
Okay.
You're like, you should check out Severance. And I really, really hesitated. And Janelle S., my sister, told me to, Andrea Z., a bunch of people were like, you got to check it out. I think even Alex, I'm going to watch. Anyways, all you people had to say was the main character's name is Mark S. And I would have been like,
I never put 2 and 2 together.
Egotistically, I would have been like, yeah, I'm watching the show even if it's junk. Spoiler alert, it's not junk. It's actually, you put it very well. It's a very slow moving show. And every time they turn up the intensity, like 1 or 2 degrees, it just pulls you right in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They make you work for the energy in it. And
Yeah.
when the energy comes, it takes no effort for you just to be like, your heart pounding.
What's going to happen?
And
here?
you're just dialed right
Yeah.
in.
It's not a dark show.
Yeah.
It's maybe a little sci-fi-esque.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it without saying it, but it's like, I don't want to ruin any plot lines for it,
Yep.
but it's fresh.
If you're a fan of an interesting concept that hasn't been toyed with,
yes,
that's what I get really drawn into shows like that.
Yeah.
And Severance does a really good job of putting you into this predicament of like imagining yourself in that situation and
how you would react.
How would you react?
I
to
like
it?
that.
It does a very, very good job of it.
Who would you say you most resonate with?
Oh, resonate with?
Or who would you want to be if you could be in Severance out of the characters we know?
Oh, good question. I don't know. That's a good. Do you have somebody in mind?
100%.
I know what you're going to say.
Who?
I forget his name. I'm so bad with the character names in this show.
Milchek.
Oh, Milchek.
I would love to be Milchek.
Milchek makes sense. But Milchek makes sense. And the mustache.
And
the mustache also brings it
that
out.
thing is manicured to like extreme perfection. He is such a complex character.
Yeah.
He kind of plays both sides of the fence, and if you watch the show, you'll get what I mean by that.
Yep.
His dance moves are on fire.
On point.
Right?
His dance moves.
Yeah. Episodes to watch out for: Defiant Jazz.
Yeah.
Big fan of Defiant Jazz.
I love that they named it Defiant Jazz.
Big fan of that episode. And then the last one of season 2, he's got another dance ensemble that just
pops. It pops.
Yeah. I'm so hooked. I know the anthem.
Yeah.
Do you know the anthem?
That,
Oh, that's the theme of the show. I'm talking about the Lumen anthem.
Oh no!
I've watched it so many times. I'm like so obsessed with it. H hates when I sing it.
I love that you know it off by heart, and it makes me so happy that you got this into it.
yeah. Thank you for putting me onto it. So Severance, if you're looking for something to watch to pass the time,
Spice it up.
Ben Stiller directed. Hello,
100%.
Where have you been my whole life?
Killing it. Yeah.
What a director.
Yeah.
And for the we're really on a tangent here, but this is how we're going to tie it all together. The scenes, the architectural scenes in it, and the minimalist office decor.
The aesthetic of the whole.
Aesthetic.
Yeah, I hooked. I'm hooked.
The brutalist design of Lumen headquarters, and just that to me is just like done so well.
Agreed. Totally agreed.
Second last episode of season 2 is called Salt Neck.
You know the names of the episodes.
I do. Yeah, I do. I got a lot of time on my hands. The market isn't good. I'm not sure if I told you this yet, but a lot of time on my hands. Salt Neck, last episode of season 2 is filmed in Nova Scotia.
Yes, you were telling me about this.
Yeah, so it's a fictional town. So because you're going to have questions about this show, like what time frame does it take place in? I'm not clear on that yet.
Yeah.
Of what time frame it's in, because the cars look like late 80s, early 90s. The technology is like
60s,
60s, 70s.
70s. Yeah.
And also like Is it in America?
It's a question. That's a good question.
There's a lot of questions that we have.
Yeah, there's still well, there's a season 3.
Season 3 is being filmed,
so we're gonna wait and see what happens.
Yeah. So that's all the news I got.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, it's a great way to summarize it.
Thank you.
I'm so happy we dove into Severance and the Pope. We really went on some tangents.
Yeah, yeah. We're delaying here. So let's get into new listings. What do you got for us?
Okay, so I'm gonna have one coming up shortly.
Right on.
For the Renters of the World, 35 Brian Peck, which is Scenic on Eglinton.
Okay.
It's Eglinton and
Leslie. Bayview?
Yeah,
I like that area.
Yeah, exactly. So you have everything in walking distance. Your Sobeys, your grocery store, LCBO. They have that nice plaza where kind of everything's located, Home Depot and everything like that. It's a 1+ den. With parking and locker, and it's just south of Sunnybrook Park. Obviously.
Oh, it's a great park.
Yes,
great hiking park.
The first time I drove in there, and mind you, I say drive because it is an enormous park.
Yeah,
it's incredible. Yeah,
you could walk it up to Bayview to Bridle Path. It's there's a nice river that runs along it. Yeah,
it's really really awesome spot. So if you like that type of stuff, I got one coming for you. Price, I'm going to hang tight for a second until it's officially live, but it's I'll say the low 2000s is what I'm going to say.
Yeah. Pardon me. Got some sparkly water.
How about you? New listings.
I'm back at the home front, back where Joey and I the sparks first flew.
That's right.
800 Lawrence Avenue West, unit 1615. I got it on the market at 2,400 at the moment. It's phase 1, Treviso, Dufferin and Lawrence, south facing, by far one of the best city views you can get.
Love it.
City and lake views. So you are perched at the top of Dufferin. You can see literally Niagara Falls, not the falls, but where Niagara Falls is situated. You could see that from your balcony.
Love it.
Not many places in the city can boast that. This one does. Same as you're saying, parking the locker. We're at 2,400. It's been a slow go. We might have to adjust that. I think we were trying to aim for the stars, but we may have missed that a little bit. But that's where we're at.
Rental market is it's a little slower right now.
You can't have it both ways. You can't say you hate immigration, but you like high rent prices. We talked about that in a previous episode, but all things being said, I mean, the market numbers we're going to get into next, they're not the greatest, but still busy.
Yeah.
Still busy. We had this last month where I was like, I personally am not experiencing what the market is seeing. And I felt a lot of it this month as well.
Okay.
So anyways, let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Let's get into the pain.
The April numbers. Meat and potatoes are here.
Ooh, I forgot about those.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, I want to set the tone here because the numbers need context always, right? And the context is we got to look back at what the month of April was.
Yeah, can we talk about that? Because that's gonna be a reoccurring comment that we make as we run through things.
We had an election.
Yeah.
So spoiler alert, we also have the same prime minister officially now.
Yeah.
I guess you can say. Anyways, Mark Carney's officially the prime minister. So we had all of that talk going on. A lot of people were not so much that they're waiting to vote to see who becomes prime minister, but seeing what policies will be enacted based on who wins.
Yep.
So generally the market does slow down in election months. And I brought that up a couple months back saying, expect April to be a little funny for that reason.
Yep.
And sure enough, there you go.
Sure enough, here we are.
We had a rate announcement and the announcement was no rate change. So that kind of took a little bit of heat out of the momentum. Yeah. And I think the tariff talk probably very heavily played into a lot of things. And with tariff talk came some of the worst days in the stock market.
Right.
When I went to Bahamas that week, we're getting ready to go on a plane. I'm like, maybe we shouldn't go because I might be broke. The stock market came down significantly.
Yeah.
And a lot of people's savings is stored in, stocks and bonds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So when you see, 15% of your portfolio wiped out overnight,
Yep.
the first question I ask is how much worse is this going to get? Am I going to lose it all? I obviously no, but you do have those feelings of, well, I better tighten my wallet.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah, 100%. We have a trade war happening.
Yep.
Excessive tariffs.
Yep.
We have what seems like a very erratic president on south of the border. We have all of us talking about who's going to be next up to deal with that. And then you have the stock markets crashing all at the same time, simultaneously.
And this has no bearing on the Toronto market. The Pope also passed. April was a hectic month.
April was pretty nuts.
There was a lot that happened in April. And you brought up in a previous episode that February is that weird month of the year
where everything keeps happening.
COVID happened and a whole bunch of weird stuff happens. Well,
April's bringing the heat.
A close competitor to the weirdness of February. So I think all of those need to be kept in the back of your mind when you're looking at the way prices were in April.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to say on the flip side, April is also a very predictive month to where the market's going, because that's the start of the spring market, especially after Easter is when things are supposed to ramp up and the buyers are supposed to come out. And as we get into the numbers, you're going to find didn't happen so much.
Not so much.
Didn't happen. And I think the reasons we just stated are a big part of it.
Definitely.
Cool. Big picture?
Big picture. Let's do it. Transactions.
Okay. So we had a slight bump. There was 11% more sales in April than there was in March, but, and this is the big but, a 20% drop compared to last year.
Yeah.
And I think all those reasons we stated at the top, we should have a word for those opening reasons. The big reason? Okay. Is that what we're going to call it?
Let's do it.
Okay. Officially, all the reasons we stated are now called the big reason.
The big reason.
Yeah. So because of the big reason, that's what I think contributed heavily to a 20% year over year drop in sales or transactions compared to last year.
Right. And that was a total of, so we had, in April, we had a total of 7,114.
Of last year.
And
this year, 5,600.
5,600.
Yeah.
That's a hefty drop. I took a look at what the 10-year average was for this. By the way, I wanted to follow this all up with context because it's super, super important, not just to base it off. The last few years have been really weird and up and down. So I figure a 10-year average makes the most sense to compare it to. So 9,000. Since 2015 to today, 9,000 is the regular transaction level for April.
And I just said 5,600 for this year.
Yes.
That's a big ouch.
So we're in a very slow market overall right now.
Yeah.
Something that's pretty crazy. When we get into segments, you'll see a stat that I didn't expect to take place. But
so what I'm more, my head instantly goes is, well, is this because of the big reason or what's going to happen in May?
Right.
Because we don't have, well, we have a pope now, so that's another.
Because we don't have a pope.
Well, we have a pope now, so we're okay in that regard. Spiritually, we're going to be all right. We have a prime minister.
Yes.
We also have talk of trade deals, that Trump is going to be doing trade deals.
Right.
The market, I follow the S&P quite closely, that has gone up quite a bit since the declines we saw in early April.
Right.
So, or sorry, March, I should say. No, April. Yeah. We're in May. Sorry. I got my M's mixed up there. So a lot of the market losses are starting to come back. There's, I would say within a 3 week, if we compare from 3 weeks ago, there's a little bit more stability than we had 3 weeks prior.
Right. We have a little more, well, I would love to say we have a lot more certainty, but we don't.
We don't have a lot more certainty, but these seismic events seem to have calmed momentarily.
Yes.
We'll hang tight. All that being said, what is going to happen in May? That's my big curiosity. I think next month is going to be my most interested.
You're going to pay attention to the
most. I'm so curious how all this is going to span, because May is going to be a definitive month.
Right.
If we have another lackluster month without these seismic events happening, what's going on here?
Yeah, but mind you, unless we do have another seismic event, then it's going to be
another. Just blame that.
Yeah, we're just going to call another big reason.
A second big reason. Well, job numbers came out today and they were dismal.
Right.
We're about 7% unemployment.
Right.
So there is no rate meetings in May. June is the next one.
Mind you, also to also bring it up, that was a lot of the employment that actually kept up with the job losses were to do with politics.
Right.
It was all in the government, and because of the big campaign that took place, and
there
was a little extra hiring that took place. So
right.
Those are temporary
jobs.
Shout out to Chris Mulder.
Okay.
Because he just broke that down. And
thank you, Chris.
It was a 20-30 second video or a minute video or whatever it was, and it's so detailed.
Fellow clergymen, we're big fans of the popes.
Right.
we're pope chatting. Yeah, good guy.
Sorry.
No,
I digress.
Please. That was good because the context is pretty important with this. New listings. You want to tackle that?
Let's do it. Okay, so last month we saw a huge jump in new inventory, and we're in at over 17,000.
That's a lot.
New housing that hit the market.
Yep.
It represented a 43% increase year over year.
Yep.
And this month we added another 18,000
to that. That is huge. We added another 18,000 homes on the market to sell.
Yeah.
Kind of explains why sales were so dismal, because there's so much more inventory.
So another context point here. New listings is one thing about everybody jumping into the market right now. Active listings is where we're going to see what the result of how much they're getting absorbed is.
Right.
So the 10-year average for what April looks like is 17,000. It's actually not too terrible from what we usually see for April, but
no one's buying them.
Nobody's buying them.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
That is the issue. What's the CIBC economist, Benjamin Tao? We're in a buyer's market with with no buyers.
Yes. Yes.
Therein lies the problem. So talk to me about active listings.
So active listings also saw a jump from the 23,000 we had in March over to 27,000 in April, which also represented a 50% increase from the same time last year.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. The stock is piling up.
Yeah. Things are sitting. That is the reality of the situation. And buyers have lots of choices. And to be frank, there isn't a ton of buyers out there.
Yeah. The 10-year, I want to continue on the 10-year average cycle. The 10-year average since 2015, the average for the month of April, 16,500. That's currently on the market, or that would be currently on the market in the past. Yeah. Today we're at 27,000. That's
insane.
Just 60% over the 10-year average.
That's insane.
Heavy buyer's market right now.
You know how you gave the pro tip on the crudo sandwich, get the glaze? I'm going to have a pro tip for sellers.
Let's hear it.
If you don't have to sell, don't sell. That's my pro tip.
I like it.
Now's not the time to be testing the market, not to be asking like, oh, let's just see if we can get it. If you need to sell, by all means, take every approach necessary. But if you're just looking to test the market and there isn't a next step for you to go to, really be questioning if it's the right time to even be trying this.
100%.
Yeah.
Buyers, if you're listening, this is your time, man.
Joey's second pro tip. Get out there.
Get out there. It's so the time. It's uncertain, and everybody's, the uncertainty is where you can get those wins right now. Right. And we're seeing this is the numbers are speaking for themselves.
Yeah. So if you are certain in your job and your ability to pay the monthly mortgage, get in the market.
Yeah.
If you're uncertain about that, no, don't do anything irresponsible.
100%.
But the window of opportunities here.
Totally.
Yeah. Average prices.
Let's hear it.
Okay. So we saw a small bump. 1.3%. We ain't popping no confetti over 1.3%. It's about a $14,000 difference from last month to this month.
Yeah.
Pretty flat month. But what's most concerning, April marked a 4.2% drop from the year-over-year average last year.
Right.
So that's, month over month, whatever, no change, but we're down 4.2 from last year.
Right.
Whereas I always like to reference where rates were a lot higher.
Right.
So we've had several cuts and it's now the prices have dropped. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Well, I do know about that. That's alarming.
Yeah. Are people waiting for the bottom? Are people uncertain? There's a lot of variables on the table right now why people aren't jumping in.
Vibe check, man. It's all about the vibes. I think everybody is not feeling super optimistic about what the future, and all of a sudden when you confuse, you lose. It's one of those adages that I always think about. And the market is very confusing. And so nobody wants to take the steps into it. So it's a hard no. I'm not touching things until I know where things are going.
Talk to us about days on market.
Okay, sure. I would love to. My pleasure. Because days on market was looking really good.
Yes.
Last month we were at 25. That's starting to get into territory of a very hot spring market. I think I even made a comment of how excited I was to see that. We're back up to 33.
Yeah.
So we're back up to, what's that, 4 weeks to sell your place?
Definitely.
4 weeks to sell your place. Keep that in mind. Keep your expectations in check. This isn't going to be a quick 8 hours on the market and 20 offers coming to the table. This might take months.
It's a slower process.
Very slow.
Especially in the condo market.
Yeah. Oh, I've got the best price condo in a North York condo development, and the showings are dismal.
Right.
It's really tough.
Yeah, it's tough. And I think that's one of the main things is you do have to be the best price out there.
Yeah.
For anybody coming to the shop right now.
And even then, you're still not.
It's not a guarantee.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Months of inventory.
Yeah. Okay. So overall, if we're just talking about the landscape of the GTA in general, we went up. Pretty obvious when you talked about the active
inventory
listings.
going so high. Yeah.
So 4.7 was what we were in, and 4.9 is what we're in today.
Got it.
So overall, it's just been slowly trending up. It's been since November that we've been kind of trending upwards. So we're long story short, we're stacking up on inventory.
Uncertainty goes all back to that, right? Until people are confident in the direction we're going. I mean, what's been a week of Mark Carney?
Yep.
A week. He met with Trump. I don't know. The online Twitter comments weren't too bad.
Yeah.
It seemed relatively okay. So we'll see what direction, what type of confidence he could bring to the market.
Totally.
Yeah. We'll see what happens there. All right. Let's look smaller picture, Toronto.
Nitty gritty.
Yeah. Transactions and sales.
Let's do it.
Okay. So month over month, the detached took a commanding lead. They were up 27%. Semis were up 21%. Towns were up 10%. And condos. You have 2 less sales than last month, but pretty much break-even month for you. Sounds pretty promising. I'm giving you some pretty high stats there. 27% for detach. You think like, okay, we made it.
Yeah.
No, we didn't. We did not at all. Because year over year, we're really shitty.
100%. So the detach. I guess what I want to bring up is the fact that detach is actually we have a group chat in our brokerage right now. And there's a big conversation happening about how's the market with everybody. What's things feeling like right now? Detached freeholds seem to be, they're doing much better than condos. I think there's a big and this is kind of showcasing what that is.
Agreed.
It really, really depends on what you have as to what things are going to look like in your marketing strategy and what you're planning to do with your timelines. 27% is a big increase month over month when it comes to the amount of transactions that actually took place.
Yep. So, and that tells me that like people are out there, people are still buying now. Are these, I think the golden position to be in is if you have a semi, sell your semi, get a good return on that, and then move up to the detached. It's a good time to be a move up buyer in this market at the moment. If you own a townhouse semi or detached, a condo, you have to be prepared to take a bit of a loss.
Right.
But if you held this condo for 10, 15 years and you have a lot of equity built into it, this might be a good time to say, all right, I know the market's not good, but I can get ahead if I move up to a townhouse semi or detached.
Right.
When we compare all those segments to last year, semis was the only segment that saw a 5% increase. Everything else saw a loss in transactions.
Right.
Last year.
Yes.
So the heat of April is not there. It's just it wasn't a hot month in terms of
totally the case. And one last thing I'm going to bring up on the transactions is this is the first time I've seen in the last while where detached houses actually sold almost as much as condos. Where usually when the ratio of the amount of sales is looking like, let's say detached is around 800, 900 sales for the month. Condos are usually up at like 1,500, 1,700, something along those lines. This is the first time they're neck and neck. Which is just emphasizing the lack of transactions that are happening with condos.
Yep.
Gives an opportunity because a lot of those condos are sitting for the buyers.
Right. And it also proves that we're saying that detached is a sought after housing segment because there's an uptick of transactions in that category. So,
totally. Yeah.
Adds up. Okay. Prices. Yeah. So context is key. The big reason, all those things we stated. Also, the vibe check. People aren't super confident. So I'm saying all this because, some bad news is coming. Small declines month over month. Semis were down 5%, detached down 1%, condos less than 1%. And towns saw an increase, but towns are weird. They have
those weird segments.
The teeter-totter months.
Yeah.
It's a good month for townhomes. So all that sounds somewhat favorable. But remember, April sets the tone. This is the first kickoff. We're in Q2. This is when the spring market really starts to blossom and show its, what are those trees called? Cherry blossoms. Okay. Yeah, it starts to bloom like a cherry blossom. Not so much this year. And it got worse when compared to last year. Condos and semis had a 7% decline in prices, followed by detached at 6.5%. And towns were pretty much, they broke even. But just scrap towns, it's not really something to focus on.
Yep.
The other three big segments all saw losses year over year. That's where I think a lot of those negative headlines are warranted.
Right.
We're usually combating the media saying, the media is cherry picking. No,
this time it's been this way for the last little bit.
Yep.
And it's warranted to say that it's not great.
It's dismal. The numbers don't lie in this sense. Even if you accept the big reason and the vibe checks, the facts are prices are down year over year in 3 of the 4 segments.
Yeah.
We don't talk about towns because towns are weird. They're not weird. We like you townhomes, but you get what I'm saying. The teeter-tottering effect, it's hard to track it accurately to say where things are at.
Totally. I still got my money on towns.
Okay. Yeah.
I still got my money on towns. We do like you towns.
I just prefer semis a bit more, but don't tell towns. Shh. A secret.
Months of inventory.
Yeah.
Shall we get into it?
Yeah.
Okay. So months of inventory, again, for any new listeners that might be in, the way you judge months of inventory what it means in general is if you just stop adding new listings to the market today, how long would it take for that, the inventory to sell out basically? If it takes 1 to 3 months to sell out, it's a seller's market. It's a tight market and the prices go up. 4 to 6 months is a balanced market, which means proper negotiations and more of a paced market. And then 6+ months of inventory means it's a buyer's market and prices go down. So I'm going to do my award ceremony as I usually do. First place for tightest inventory award goes and stays with semis.
Okay.
They go up though. I will say I think everything went up or stayed flat.
Okay.
So semis went from 2.4 months of inventory to 2.6.
Okay.
Again, there's very little number of semis out there in Toronto, so it's always just tends to be a tighter market there.
Yep.
Runner up goes to Towns. Towns went and held at 3.6. So not much of a change. They are the odd man out right now.
Yeah.
I still have faith because of the new mortgage rules that took place of why they might increase in price over the next little bit. And then third place went to Detached. Also held flat. Month over month.
Not much of a change.
Again, April, we hope for a better situation, but it's just not seeming to pan out that way. And then last place,
Condos.
Mr. Condo.
Hit me with the good stuff, baby.
Okay, so condos went, and they took the biggest drastic increase in months of inventory. They went up from 6.2 months of inventory, which is already into a buyer's market, into 6.8 months of
That's
inventory.
pretty substantial.
They went very, they're stacking up. There's lots of condos out there right now.
So without a shadow of a doubt, it is a buyer's market for condo world.
Yes.
We could agree on that.
100%. Okay. If you're buying into a condo, it's not going to be, I'm going to buy it and then I'm going to have a quick return.
Yeah.
There's going to be some pacing in this stuff, but
Couple years.
Yeah, a couple years, but there is opportunity right now like crazy.
Yeah. And okay, so I did this last market update. I'm going to do it again because I think it provides that context that we're talking about here. I'm going to give you the average prices of each segment.
Okay.
So detached house, we're saying all this dismal news and all this other stuff. It's still $1.7. $1.7.
1.7.
It's not that bad out there. It's $1.7 million for a detached house.
Yeah.
Semi-detached is 1.266. And townhouse just over $1 million, $1,020,000, and a condo 710,000.
Right.
So even though the buyer supply or the supply in the condo world has greatly appreciated, it still hasn't gone below $700,000.
Right.
Right. So a lot of inventory to choose from, but not huge drops in prices per se.
Yeah.
At least averages.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah.
May is going to be very interesting.
We're gonna May's gonna be a telltale of what's to come.
Yeah. I think if we get some tariff deals sorted out, if we get some agreements in the tariff world, that would be a huge help.
Any type of certainty.
Yeah.
Anytime we can finally say, okay, the storm is calmed.
This is the criteria, the parameters we're working in. Cool. Great. New prime minister. Will he help us? Probably not, but hey, we'll see. And a new pope. I think that might help us the most. It's helping me. I'm leading with a lot more love than I was doing when we didn't have a pope. I was in a very lost place. So
Pope Bob,
Pope Leo the 14th. Pray for us. Pray for this real estate market. And most importantly, pray for our beloved Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
Please.
Thank you for bringing that home.
Chicago's not in the playoffs, thankfully. Leafs are. So if you could put that spiritual
energy forward.
Yeah. Just please let us win the Stanley Cup.
We need a win over here.
Oh, we need a win. Toronto needs a win. And I think that will greatly improve. You know what? I got a fun fact for you. Metallica was performing at Virginia Tech last night.
Okay.
The power of people. This is what's all tied together. They played Enter Sandman. Do you know that song?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's what Virginia Tech football team runs out to when they play their game. So for them, like, yeah, we're going to play it for you. The crowd was jumping so hard, it registered a seismic activity on the earthquake.
Oh my God. Are you serious?
Facts. So where am I going with this? Collectively, you, the listeners, us, the fans, if we all collectively come together,
I like this,
and believe that this is our year, and the papal signs that we're seeing out there, the 67th, the last time Leafs won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
He is the 267th Pope. He was elected or announced at 6:07. I mean, the signs are there.
Oh, that's so insane.
Let's just bring it home.
100%.
Pray for us.
All right.
Thanks.
Also, the seismic activity, since we're on this.
Yeah.
If you can also, all of the same people that have prayed,
Yes.
hit the like button
Ooh.
and the subscribe button.
We would like that.
That would help us.
That would help us a lot. That would really shoot us to the moon. Thank you for that.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you say share with your friends?
And share with your friends.
Share with your friends. Yeah. Cool. This has been episode 90.
Episode 90.
Yeah.
I like it.
Came and gone.
Well, I don't like it. It was an awful market update.
We did good. The market, not so much. Yeah. So thanks for listening to the Shady Market. Thanks for listening to the Toronto Livings Real Estate Podcast. You could find more information on how we work over at torontolivings.com. Be sure to sign up for our newsletter to get price reports from over 150 different neighborhoods in the city each and every month.
If you got any value, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And if you made it this far, thanks for listening.